Hello, everybody. This is Debbie Horovich. I hope that you can hear me. And I hope, fingers crossed, that everything today with this recording will go well, including my voice. I've been sick for just under 2 weeks now. I'm just getting a little bit of getting through the chest cold part of it. So I hope, I'm so glad that you are here with me today. And if you have any questions, please engage, use the Q&A app. I'm going to try and get through as much possible content as I can today. I have a lot of content to share with you. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited that you're here and that you're watching. And, you know, I'm just happy that you're here with me today. I'm happy anytime that people join me. So I'm going to get into sharing the presentation with you now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get it right this time. We don't always select the right screen when you have a bunch open. So fingers crossed. It looks like I've got my desktop open. And I will go over to my slideshow. So good luck to you. I hope you're taking notes, and we're going to go really quickly. I do have some links shared with you already in the Q&A app. And like I said, I'm really happy that you're here today because I've got lots of fresh content to share with you, stuff that you might have seen me say before or heard me talk about before. But things are really starting to take a fresh view for me. I've been through some recent experiences and really enjoyed the way that things are unfolding for me as you know, as you make choices in business. Not every choice that you make, not every decision that you make, is certainly when you're making it for the first time, works out exactly the way that you thought. But I really strongly believe in looking for the silver lining. And so I hope that that's what you'll take away from today, is all the opportunities that you can find, and how you can, you know, change the way that you think about yourself and your position within the marketplace. Hopefully at the end of 45 minutes, you'll have some questions for me. If not, you can always reach out to me on email, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I'm all over the place, or you can just Google me and find me, the best place that works for you. So this morning, I really wanted to talk to you just for a moment about what's, you know, what I'm starting to see, which is I saw this link about Elizabeth Gilbert was on Huffington Post this morning, and she's talking with Oprah Winfrey in this video clip on Huffington Post. I have shared the link in the Showcase app about the hero's journey and the winding road that we take to success in business. And Elizabeth will be on Super Soul Sunday on OWN Network, Sunday morning, October 11th at 11 a.m. And, you know, I'm really happy that I have a connection with Elizabeth Gilbert. When she launched her last book last summer, The Signature of All Things, I was invited to the book launch. And it was a really surprising book for me. It was a similar experience in reading to the Poisonwood Bible. It was a book, a novel, a historical novel that really grabbed me as I was reading it, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I did not want it to end. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Elizabeth has to say Sunday morning. I hope that you'll check out the links that I've shared for you in the Showcase app. And this morning, getting right into the conversation now, this morning, what we're going to be talking about is, you know, how you can develop some thought leadership for yourself, for the brands that you work on, by using Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And most of what I'm going to talk about today really comes from just my own experiences and my own observations. Not everything that I say certainly will be right for you, will be the right choice for you. But what I'd love if you would do is if you would just test it out, you know, maybe abandon the fear for a moment and test things out. And maybe, who knows, maybe you'll enjoy it differently. Maybe you'll see a different use for what I'm suggesting today. So really a little bit about my story. It's interesting to me. This is a presentation that I had intended to make a few weeks ago for Keynote Toastmasters Toronto. And it's been a long journey for me. It's been a long time since I've presented for a Toastmasters group, probably about 15 years. And when I first joined Toastmaster 15 years ago, the situation that I was in, I was trying to present advertising media plans to my clients in front of my bosses or the VP of the advertising agency who'd come to the meeting with me. And I was shaking at the table, and like the paper would shake and I'd have flop sweat. I was so far away from ever being able to stand up in front of people and speak my mind. So it's really interesting to me now to see how far I've come in 15 years, because what happened when I first joined Toastmasters 15 years ago, and I implore you to find a Toastmasters group near you, wherever you're joining me from today. I'm really happy that you are here because I'm happy to share, some of the stuff that I've been discovering recently, which is cementing a lot of the work that I'm doing and propelling things forward. So you'll see how far things are coming. Okay, so I'm working on a couple of different slides and things like that today. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you today was what I found really interesting in this article recently from Mashable. I recently had the opportunity to hang out live on Forbes.com, and a lot of what I like to talk about with Google Plus Hangouts on Air is how, as a video creation tool, it can help you stand out from your competition. To me, that's what a thought leader is. In business, when you're aiming to help other people and you're successfully making yourself stand out from the competition in the ways that you give value to people, that is what a thought leader is to me. Am I a thought leader? To be honest, I'm not 100% comfortable calling myself a thought leader. I have had other people call me a thought leader, and I appreciate it. It's 100%, I will say, it is what I'm working towards. And so, but I haven't been on Good Morning America yet. So maybe when I'm on Good Morning America, then I'll say, that's the day that I feel like I have become a thought leader. But ultimately, what I think is important about the journey and the work that you do to become a thought leader is that it's what you're trying to do. And when you have a really big, absolutely achievable goal that's really exciting to you and something that really incites your passion and inflames you and inflames the people around you, then it can be something that is really important. And something that I have, again, I've linked to this article in the Showcase app. I hope that you'll check it out at some point. It's really interesting to me, at least what Mashable is saying about becoming a thought leader. There's lots of other opinions, and I think that they're all right in one way or another, at least for the people who have those opinions. But what really stood out to me about that Mashable article, and you'll actually see it if you click through and read the article. A quote from it is that the moral of the story, ? Well, let me say that again. The moral of the story: do something else in your field that everyone else thinks is dumb and be right about it. And that's a quote from Mashable. So if lots of people, if you're polarizing, if you're contrarian, if you're called a contrarian, which I've been done many, many times, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think people are actually complimenting me most of the time when they call me a contrarian, but I'm starting to embrace it and wear that label with more pride. So I'm happy to be doing things that almost everyone else thinks is dumb. But the people who follow me and the people who, if you're here today watching me, maybe at least you have some questions. And I'm happy to be here to share with you. So really, thought leadership, I think, it's something that really does help you stand out from the crowd. It has some really clear benefits in business, where it just sort of, having thought leadership, no matter what your platform is, can become a really valuable and effective social lubricant, which is a term that I probably haven't used in many, many years, but I think it's appropriate in this situation. So you will be able to see this video for a while if you're not taking notes. If you want to come back and check out these notes, I don't think I need to read to you exactly what's on every single slide. But I do want to cover, the basics and give you lots of value today. So there is a difference, I think, between thought leadership and instant authority. To me, what instant authority is when you can show yourself associated with recognizable brands. And that could be media brands, it could be business product or service brands, and it could be personal and professional brands. And so my recent example, as I mentioned, was the live on Forbes Hangout on Air that I did, which was associated, it was a companion video that is existing now inside of the article, The Ultimate Guide to Hosting a Google Plus Hangout on Air, which I co-authored with Dorie Clark for Forbes, which was really exciting for me. But the difference between thought leadership, which, I think the article in Forbes is both my efforts towards creating thought leadership. It's thought leadership content that I'm producing. That is both thought leadership and instant authority, because when people search for Google Plus Hangouts on Air of quality or whatever the keywords are that they're using, if Forbes is a trigger for them, a trigger of trust, a trigger of, oh, I know Forbes, I like Forbes, I trust Forbes, then that is something that gives me instant authority because I'm associated with that article. And then with the instant authority part of it is that I was immediately able to also include that on my website in the header as some of the media that I've been seen in. And so it's really valuable to have that instant authority with your brand for your business, where people go, oh, okay, so she's associated with Forbes. Everything else that I've heard about her obviously was incorrect, and I'm going to make my own choice now. I'm going to read that article, and if they then still think that, yeah, any negative things that they've heard are true, then they're likely to go away and leave you alone. And just, stop wasting their time on you, which is a good thing. But really, if, once they have the opportunity to make their own decision, because I think most of the people in my audience, most of the people in your audience are probably pretty intelligent. So they have the opportunity to make their own decision, but we want to remember that people make decisions in an instant. They make those decisions really, really quickly about what your qualifications are, and what your experience is, and who you've been connected to, and where you've been seen, and where else they can research you. And it's really important that you start to put it out there, that you have the opportunity to tell people about yourself on a regular opportunity, on a regular basis, and in a way that that you're in control of. That's what I really love about Google Plus Hangouts on Air, is that ultimately they are a video creation tool. I'm one of the few people who is a producer, a professional producer of Google Plus Hangouts on Air, who focuses on the value and opportunities that Google Plus Hangouts on Air bring to people who are not interested in spending a whole lot of time on Google Plus. If you're not in the place right now where you're ready to invest more time, more business resources in another social network, which has different cultural expectations and a different audience, if you're not ready for that investment yet, you can use Google Plus Hangouts on Air, the video creation tool, to still create the videos within your business that you need. And the beauty of them is that they are a YouTube video, that they get automatically archived to your channel on YouTube. And once you've recorded a video, this video today, the reason why I'm doing it is because now, once I'm done the recording today, this video will be exactly like a YouTube video. It is a YouTube video. It's on my YouTube channel. And so I have all of the exact same privacy opportunities and details that I can choose for privacy options as I would with all of my other YouTube channels. The basics of YouTube of Google Plus Hangouts on Air are that you can have 10 people presenting on the video, but it's important to remember you can have unlimited viewers because it is a YouTube video. It's live streaming on your YouTube, and it's also live streaming every single where else, every other place that you put the video link that you have prepared. What I love about Google Plus Hangouts on Air, though, is really not all the technical stuff. And this is why I think this is why I sort of reject the common best practices of Google Plusers, saying that you have to be really active on Google Plus, because I don't think that you do. I prefer, and maybe I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one too, but I prefer to shut everything else out when I go into a Hangout on Air and really focus on what is the content that I'm creating. How can I really connect with the people that are with me on this video, who are sharing this experience with me. And it really is, to me, it's like hanging out on a dock. It's like a corporate retreat where you get away. There's no phones, there's no distractions. There are very few other people invited. And it's a great way to have sort of like a thought leadership panel, or a town hall, or a debate, or even a candidate's debate for an election. There's lots of opportunities. And if you haven't actually seen it, if you don't know what it looks like to be in a Google Plus Hangouts on Air, and lots of people comment on how crappy the video can be. And the video really ranges. It depends on the hardware that you have, the computer that you're on. It depends on your bandwidth. It depends on your internet access. It depends on how many other apps you have open at the moment. But the most important thing about Google Plus Hangouts on Air is that they actually have really good really good audio. And so with really good audio, you have the opportunity to do all sorts of other things. And the truth of the matter is, a conversation video, people will tune in and do other work, and they'll listen to it sort of like other people talking around them. Google Plus Hangouts on Air, when you have a panel of people talking about a particular subject, it becomes like a radio show where people are hanging out around the microphones. And a lot of people even use them as a new way to record their podcasts. And for some people like myself who still feel really insecure about technology, which I do, I admit it, hands up over here. I always want to learn more. And so anything that makes it easier for me, I want to explore. How can I really use that in a really valuable way for business? And I hope that you do too. So what I'm going to share with you today is 6 steps for powerful tips for celebrity hangouts on air. And the key pillars that I've discovered through my experiences with creating Google Plus Hangouts on air for clients and for myself, and testing various types of shows, testing and testing and testing, and discovering how to break the tool, and sometimes doing it very publicly. But what I've discovered are the key components for Google Plus Hangouts on air are not the video quality. It's not, you know, having really entertaining necessarily. It's not necessarily about having really, oh goodness. I think my brain can't even talk about the negative stuff. So let's focus on the positive. So what you really want to focus on with your show is you want to focus on, in my experiences, attracting celebrity guests, and bringing them into your show and bringing them into your business and your life and getting to know them and befriending them in business, so that you can collaborate on stuff and have fun within your business with these celebrity guests. I also, one of the things that I've discovered that I think is pretty unique that I haven't seen a whole lot of other people talking about, and even Google doesn't really talk about, and I'm not too sure why, is how you can really build unlimited audiences with your Google Plus Hangouts on air. And it all comes down to scheduling your Google Plus Hangout on air in advance, using Google Plus, and doing it as far in the future as you think you need to plan out the size and the detail of the event that you want to plan. And, you know, take into consideration everyone else's schedule too. I think a lot of the time, planning a big event, an important Google Plus Hangout on air for your business, that you expect to have a lot of business objectives met, a large return on investment. You want the opportunity to, you know, plan it as deeply and as detailed, so that it will be a really memorable and life-changing experience for the people who watch your Hangout on air, for your audience. And when you have really quality content, you can get any existing media channel to show it to their audience for you, for free. And that's the best thing is about becoming a producer of content, is that you then have the opportunities to build people into the programming. And that's what I talk about when I look for sponsor revenue as well. So I'm going to get right into those 6 steps for you. So the first step really is that you want to create your long-term vision. And what this is all about for me is what you're working on is not what you're selling to people. What people are buying from you is where we're going to get to, not where we are right now. I mean, right now we're all working really freaking hard. And what we want is a change. And so what you want to do is you want to have a vision for your Google Plus Hangout on air that is going to tell people about why they want to tune in, why they want to participate in helping you make your show a success, and why that's going to be valuable to them. And so in order to create the long-term vision, a template that I created for myself that I'm going to share with you, the link you can follow, it's also in the Showcase app, is thesparkleagency.com/blueprint. And what I've done is I created a template. It's a document. This one is actually like a swipe file, but it's a template that I created for another show. And it's almost like a business plan for your Hangout on Air show, and where you're going to be within 18 episodes. That could be 18 months. It could be 18 weeks. It could be 18 days. Although I would advise you against daily or weekly. It's not what works for me. And if you want to talk more about that, I'm happy to do so. There are probably other people that advise the other way, and it might be what works for you. I think you really do have to try everything out and see what feels best for you and what really provides results for you. But in my mind, I always like to plan for success. And I always like to be prepared to tell people about the success that I'm working on, so that the people who go, yeah, you know what, that's really freaking cool. What else can you tell me about it? So that I have myself already prepared. I've already thought about how they can participate and how they can help me make the Hangout on Air a real success. So step 2, and sorry that I really wish I could go into a lot more detail with every single one of these steps. But it comes with experience, and you will have the opportunity at the end of the recording today to join the mastermind. I will be giving you the link for the mastermind. I think it's probably already in the showcase, and that's how. If you're really ready to advance with Google Plus Hangouts on Air, like if you're really ready to plant your stake in the ground, run your flag up the flagpole and say, this is what I frickin' stand for. And I'm not going to wait for anybody's permission to do it. And I'm going to learn how to do this really, really well. And the only way to do that, to do it well for you, to do you well in Google Plus Hangouts on Air, is to start having experience with it and to learn what feels right and what doesn't feel right. And there's all sorts of different ways to do it. But the second key point that I really want to bring to you is about in planning, and this is also the second step, is really about understanding your audience. And so you want to create the show to offer solutions to what your audiences, your target client or your target audience for your business. What is the biggest problem that they have? Decide who are the people that will join your show on the panel and what they can do to bring to the authority and to the thought leadership of the conversation. So in getting to know your audience, what you want to do is you want to research the media channels that exist that are already having conversations, and you want to take note. You want to list down for yourself what are the media channels that come up top on Google. In those media channels, when you click through, who are the thought leaders and influencers that are writing the articles? Who are those journalists that are exploring, that are constantly curious, that are always asking questions, and who want more information with a different angle? And who are the thought leaders and influencers? Who are the celebrities within that field associated with that important conversation for your business that they're already talking about? Who are the people that you can invite on your show? And then finally, the last thing you want to take a look at, if you really want to up-level your Hangouts on Air and you want to go for sponsors really quickly, is you also want to take note and list for yourself. You want to list who are the advertisers that are showing up on that page, because those are the perfect candidates. And if it's not them, it could be any one of their competitors. So that's how you start your prospecting for integrated content partners and sponsors. So the third thing that you want to do, that third step in your planning, is you really want to pretend that every single person you meet, I love this quote, you really want to pretend that every single person you meet has a sign around his or her neck that says, "Make me feel important." Not only will you succeed in sales, you will succeed in life. And this is a quote from Mary Kay Ash. So what I relate to in this, excuse me, just let me take a sip of water. What this means to me in my process for planning Google Plus Hangouts on Air is that I want to reach out to the people who are most interesting. As I was talking about, the celebrities and thought leaders and influencers within my niche, within that conversation, the people that came up in my research when I was really getting to know my audience. And your audience includes not only the people who are the audience, the true audience of the other media channels, but it's also the journalists, it's also the advertisers, it's also the celebrities and thought leaders. They will be your audience first, very often before they will become your featured guest. And so you really want to invite them to something. You want to give them something special before you ask them for any value back. And that's really the most important the most important lesson that I've learned through Google Plus Hangouts on Air is to really slow down and to take the opportunity in Google Plus Hangouts on Air to book with my celebrities, with the influencers, the opportunity to talk to them for an hour and a half. Again, that flies in the face of many of the common video best practices. They say only record for a half hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes at the longest. Nobody's going to watch an hour and a half. But the honest truth is, I only have one opportunity in my life to make a first impression with the celebrity, with this influencer, me, the host of the show. And so I want to make sure that my production of the show has as much value as it possibly can in cementing a relationship, in cementing a positive relationship with that person, with that influencer. And so when I approach them, specifically the steps that I take is that I want to outline the benefits of the show that I'm going to be creating. And I want to let them know how participating in any way, especially starting for free, will benefit them. Even if they start for free, they're going to get benefits from participating. And then, you know, once they have the opportunity to be introduced to you, they'll make a decision if that was something that they enjoyed or not. And they'll make a decision if they want to continue to participate. And when they're ready to participate in a larger way, most people are going to step right up and say, listen, I really have been enjoying this, but I want to see how we can make it grow. And I want to take a larger piece of the pie. You know, I want to bake more pie and I want to eat more pie. So the fourth step in creating your Google Plus Hangout on Air and launching your show is to make sure that you do take care of all of the details. And you really want to, as much as you can, plan ahead for the live event and really think through, where am I asking people to go, as much as you can. The other thing is, I don't want you to focus on being perfect in any way, shape, or form. You have to set the date of your Google Plus Hangout on Air, and eventually you have to record it. I can't even say anymore that I never reschedule a Google Plus Hangout on Air, because in the recent weeks with my colds that I've had, I have absolutely had some rescheduled Hangouts on Air. And you know, I'm happy to say that the other thing that I've been doing is I've been working on the details of my business and really preparing, you know, the next, what am I going to be doing and where am I going to be providing it for whom over the next 5 years. And it's actually been a really large commitment of my time and energy in the last few weeks. And I think that it has contributed to some of the rescheduling and a little bit of, you know, sort of the unexpected things that I've been testing. and, you know, I love the opportunity when life presents you with pop quizzes. Hey, we're going to test you now today. So really, that's what I'm going to say is, you know, you want to set the date of your Hangout on Air, prepare as much as you can, and then go through with it. Record it on the day that you have, on the majority of times, because the bottom line is you want to have a video there. Even if it's a screwed up video, it's better than no video at all. You want to have videos that you can put into landing pages, that you can put into sales pages, that you can put into offer pages. That's what I'm creating today. This is a video for a sales page for the mastermind. And I wanted to, you know, give you some fresh content. So it is really important that you think about these details for your Google Plus Hangout on Air. So The reason why I'm now talking about scheduling Google Plus Hangouts on air, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance, even a Hangout on air that you're not 100% sure yet exactly who will be your guests. If you know you have enough passion for a subject matter and you really want to pull together the best possible people that you can, start with humble expectations. Start with an expectation that no one will watch you live, and that will release you from the responsibility of a live audience. You can focus on the people who are on your guest panel, regardless of whether they are big name celebrities or influencers. I certainly haven't had celebrities and influencers on every single Hangout that I've done, but I really try and focus just on the guests in my panel and the opportunity to connect with them. Like I said, it's a one-time shot that you have to make a first impression with them, and to, impress upon them what it is that you're trying to provide for the world. What is it that you're really trying to change about people's experience of the world and your business and how it moves in it. So moving on to, the next part is really the live Hangout on air recording date, which, there's all sorts of experiences that you're going to have on the day of the live recording, and all sorts of things can happen. But I've got, just a few top tips for you. What you want to think about, you want to start your Google Plus Hangout on air about 30 minutes before you plan to go live. So you have a few minutes to bring in your guests, to run through show notes, check your streams, and share any last minute instructions with your live recording guests. If you need a few extra moments to prepare before going live, let your audience know that there will be a delay, and get started as soon as you can. The show must go on, but that doesn't mean that if you're late, it's not going to be a valuable recording. And I have had many shows start late that have been my best Hangouts on air. And 2 of those, actually, it's funny now that I think about it, this is the first time I'm actually realizing and making this connection. My first celebrity Hangout on air with Guy Kawasaki in January of 2013 for Sparkle SOS Book Authors and Publishers, that Hangout on air started 25 minutes late because I was unprepared for, what I was trying to do, and all of the added guests that I had live, and all of the live people that were calling me, and, all the expectations, and probably my nerves as well. That one we started 25 minutes late. And then I think for the Forbes Hangout a few weeks ago, live on Forbes.com, or the hashtag would be live on Forbes. That one as well, I think we started 25 minutes late, which was, it's interesting. A lot of things come up that are out of your control. And I love my yoga teacher training for that. In 2004, I became a certified Moksha yoga instructor. I was amongst the first group of people to become certified in Moksha yoga in North America, in Toronto. It gave me a lot of really strong physical ways to help me prepare for the physical stress of things happening out of your control. Like, you do all of the preparation that you can, and then you need to be good for yourself. You need to be good to yourself, and you need to be good to your guests, and you need to be calm for your guests. If you freak out, they're going to freak out for sure. So, I like to just take a deep breath when things start to go off the rails, and, you do the best that you can. You can always re-record it later. There will be some Hangouts that are really important, and you have to cross your fingers. And if they are even more important, if they're so important that you're going to lose money, then you want to think about investing, and make sure that you have a professional Google Plus Hangouts on air producer there to help you through the entire planning process, from, first strategy session to all the way through execution, and all the way through to really to repurposing, and to the fact that once you've recorded the video, now you have it, you own it. regardless of what anyone else says, they gave you permission. You own this video content. You can, as you go throughout your life now, as you run your business, as you go on social channels and you explore new ventures and new passions, you always own this video link, which you can share with audiences when you find it relevant. And so it's not only just a YouTube video link that you can share, but you have the opportunity to use a website like offliberty.com, and that's one that I didn't include yet. When I go back to check the Q&A, I'll add offliberty.com into the Showcase app so that you have that link there. I use offliberty.com to download my videos from YouTube and then to edit them. And when you're in editing, what you can do is you can strip out the audio, and you can make a podcast on iTunes with it. It's a really easy way, as I mentioned earlier today. It is a really easy way to get your podcast produced. And why not? A lot of the people that I talk to, some of the examples and my students from Celebrity Hangouts on Air from level 1, for Thought Leader Life, Michael Procopio and Mitchell Levy, they, before they even launched their show Thought Leader Life, what they did was they reached out to people that they knew at the For Immediate Release podcast network, and they worked out a deal with them to have For Immediate Release distribute Thought Leader Life, the audio of their weekly Hangout on Air show, to have it distributed on FIR network, on podcast, on iTunes, which gives them, they've reported to me, about 50% extra listeners, extra people engaging with their conversation. So it really doesn't matter the fact that you've created it on video first. You can do all sorts of things with the video. Like you can make 30-second video clips. You can do blooper reels. You can do case studies. You can take images. You can make quotes for sharing on any of the other channels. You can, share the video as it is. But really the important thing that I want to share is that, what I hope you've gotten out of today, and I hope that you have taken some notes, and I'm just about right on schedule, is I want you to think about, this is a process. There is a plan. There's a set system that I can help you with, that can help you in this process, launching a signature show for your for your business using Google Plus Hangouts on Air. It can help you generate instant authority, and over time, it can help elevate you to a thought leader. Of course, if you behave like a thought leader, if you're hanging out with thought leaders, if you are the social hub of your business social community, so you're going to have a lot of peers and a lot of friends who are also launching businesses at the same time, who are going through the same thing, because you want to gravitate together. You still want to be the person who has the most epic parties, the most epic dinner parties, the most epic launches, the person who knows everybody, the person who is connected to everybody, and the social proof is there everywhere on all of your social channels. So I really think, behave like a thought leader if you want to become one. Get your word out there, get started with a Google Plus Hangouts on Air show, and then expand to speaking at conferences and events, contributing to authors' books, getting started on your own book, and even starting to contribute to interviews and articles for major media publications. It might take you a lifetime to reach guru status in your industry. But the truth of the matter is that you can be sure that you're going to have a whole lot of fun along the way, if that's what you're working to achieve. So thank you for joining me today so much. And I'm going to go and check the Q&A, and we'll go through a quick review. Really, I do want you to think about, for this, how authority changes things, and stop the timer, 45 minutes. How authority changes things for you. Really what we've talked about today is that it can help you in various ways in your business. And there's lots of technical ways that being better with Google helps your business. I'm not a real tech person, but I have had some serious success with Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And the way that I've done it is really just about focusing on the relationships that I develop. I throw everything else out the window and I say, okay, I'm going to test separately. It's sort of like the SATs, they test different areas. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't even know if I took the SATs myself or if I'm just referring to like pop culture knowledge of SATs. But I think that they test like language and math, and then there's like an essay part, right? So even myself, if I'm challenged by something like launching a Google Plus Hangout on Air show, I want to separate those challenges, and I want to separate one challenge and the first benefit that I need to get out of my Google Plus Hangouts on Air is having new connections with more powerful people in my industry, people who can help me, people who I can help as well, and that they can introduce me and connect me with other people. And really having new connections who can help me change the way that I'm thinking in my life. And like I said, that's what I want to base Celebrity Hangouts on Air all about, is forming stronger relationships with the people who can bring opportunities to you in your business. And there are even opportunities that really, most of the time, you can't purchase. You can't get these opportunities. You can't buy the opportunity to be included in a thought leader's book. And when you are seen with thought leaders, you're given a little bit of that instant authority. And so I have reviewed really quickly and very top line today the 6 steps for planning a successful signature Hangouts on Air show. And as I mentioned, you can get in touch with me through thesparkleagency.com/blueprint. That's a bonus for you on the Hangout on Air today. I also want to encourage you, if you like what I'm talking about, if you want to, check me out and see what else I'm working on, see if there's anything else that you would like to participate in, that you would like to contribute. If you just want to criticize my shows, I welcome those comments as well. But who knows? I probably won't have as many of the criticizers on my show as the people who really like what I'm doing. So, choose how you frame your comments and your questions, and that will help you gain more exposure in a positive light as associated with the media that I'm producing and the audiences that are looking at what I'm creating. So, it's your choice, the energy that you bring to any event and to everything that you do in your life. So I'm going to take a look now. I've got to stop this screen share mirroring, but I'm going to just take a really quick look for the Q&A and just see if there were any questions. Thank you so much for sticking with me. My throat is getting pretty dry, but I'm happy with that. Okay, so Leonardo, thank you so much for your question. Have you created, or do you have a checklist that you can recommend to air a Hangout on Air? There are so many things to remember that a comprehensive one would be very useful. Yes, absolutely. I've got a bunch of recommendations for you, Leonardo, a bunch of places that you can look. Oops, I don't think I did stop my screen sharing. Let me turn that off. Okay, so the places that I want to send you then, I don't know if I can access my, can I access my Showcase app? Yes, I can. Okay, so let me think about, let me go back from Showcase back to Q&A so that I can see your question and keep it in mind. Interesting that your question disappeared. Pain in the Q&A app. Interesting, very interesting. Interesting to test and to see that it doesn't work so well. But I did get your question. Your question, Leonardo, was, is there a comprehensive list? It can be a little bit overwhelming to create a comprehensive checklist, but yes, I have tried. I did create what I called the stress-free guide for Google Plus Hangouts on Air, the stress-free guide for Google Plus Hangouts on Air experience. And it's a book, an ebook that is available on Amazon for sale. It's under the name of Celebrity Hangouts on Air. The price varies. So, you know, if I have the opportunity, if I remember, I'll go in and reduce the price now for like the next 3 or 4 days. I'll bring it down to the lowest possible price that I can. And give you all the opportunity, if you're watching, to download that book for the lowest possible price that I can set it for on Amazon. If I can set it up for free, I will, but I don't think I have any more of my free days available. But absolutely, I'll give that to you. I think, I'll be 100% honest with you, I think that the reason why that book actually, it really doesn't sell a whole lot. I maybe sell a half dozen to a dozen copies a month of that book. And, you know, I vary the price. I change the price around and test a lot of things. I'm open to always changing it up and seeing what works for people and what doesn't work for people and what triggers more returns or doesn't. But the other place that I'll send you, there's also a blog post on my website, and it's from Thought Leader Life, actually. They gave me a checklist of what to do to repurpose your Hangouts on Air. So it's not so much of a planning checklist, but a repurposing checklist. And you can download that for free on Celebrity Hangouts on Air, and I think it's probably also on Social Sparkle and Shine at thesparkleagency.com, and you can find it there. And then other lists, I think on the Forbes.com Hangout on Air that Zara shared a link to her pre-Hangout on Air checklist. She used to be a pilot, and you know, my mom, when I was a kid, used to also have a plane that she used to fly, a 4-seater plane. And I remember, you know, yeah, there's a checklist before you take off, and you got to check through a million different things. So that's what I tried to create with the stress-free guides that are available on Amazon. And Zara also has something available. I think Elaine Starling might also have something available if you ask her. And you know, I would say also check out the Google Plus. Check out Google's user guide to Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And that, again, is available on celebrityhangoutsonair.com. It's available under the tab of free training and webinars. You can see all of the official Google stuff that I have to share for you there. So I really thank you for that question, Leonardo. There's a couple of other questions that have come in recently in other Hangouts, and I just want to address them really quickly so that, you know, if you're a new viewer to this video, if you're new to me, so that I have the opportunity to reiterate some of the really important things and to make sure that you're aware of what's available and what I'm trying to do in business. So people often ask me about if there are refunds or how I process refunds and things like that for Celebrity Hangouts on Air programming, which we have the level 1 training course, the level 2 training course. I've got a mastermind. And really my approach to that is what I want in these communities, because I'm really just starting to launch it. I'm really just starting to promote it. I've spent most of the last 2 years really focusing on producing and exploring and testing Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And yeah, sure, a lot of things change over the years. A lot of things change. But I love knowing that I can keep up with it, that changes are no big deal. It's kind of like changes to Facebook. Yeah, Facebook makes changes all the time, right? Now we're used to it. Even Twitter is updating and making changes more frequently than we saw for a really long time. They were really very simple. So keeping up with those updates and the way that the type of people that my programs are really going to appeal to, are really going to be right for, are the type of people that are, you are ready for a serious change in your life, and you're ready to leap, and you're ready to throw caution to the wind, because you can get stuck in analysis paralysis. You can get stuck in perfectionism, and you will never be happy if you are stuck in perfectionism. If you need to make everything right, you will never find the success, because I think a lot of the time it's like you want the fame of standing up on stage and having everyone, applaud you and enjoy your work. But the fact of the matter is, you still have to go through the off-Broadway. You have to go through the experience. You have to go through the training. You have to go through the exercise. You have to have blood, sweat, and tears in the game to have a successful Google Plus Hangouts on Air show. So this program is really for people who are ready to take action. And I am willing to put my reputation on the line. I know that, the video is not always the best quality, but I'm here to help you out. I'm here to make sure that you do get the results that you're looking for. And so the way that I address returns and refunds and things like that is I always have a 90-day satisfaction guarantee, a 90-day success guarantee. So you have the opportunity to access all of your programs and videos and everything, even if it's free. Even if it's something that I'm giving away for free, I'm happy to have you reach out to me and say, listen, I've been trying this, I've been using it, I've been working on it, I've been thinking about it, and here are the places where I find that it really doesn't work. And I'm happy to hear that sort of feedback, because it allows me to improve the process. But what I know is that I'm seeing lots of success for the people that are taking action. And so if you find that you are taking action and you have either purchased or downloaded, and I think, even if it's free, if I'm charging you in your email to opt into my list, I think that there's a promise there too. And if you're not happy with it, reach out to me, tell me, let me know what you think about it. Like I said, I can't always respond to all of the critics, but I love to hear your feedback. And I love that, people don't hide the way that they feel. I can't say that I love personal attacks, but that's okay. People are going to be honest with me, and that's ultimately what I appreciate the most. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I'll be back soon. I'm going to be doing more and more Hangouts. The next big Hangout on Air that I've got coming up that I really want to point you out to is the Live on Fire Pole Marketing event, which is coming up on October 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I think that was the time. The link is going to be shared on the page so that you have access to it. And really, if you want to participate on the panel, the first qualification is that you have to read the article, and then you have to make a comment on the article. So you can read either one of the articles, the first or the second article, the one that came out last Monday or the one that comes out this Monday. They're both called The Audience and Business Alchemy of Google Plus Hangouts on Air. And it's really about hosting Google Plus Hangouts on Air and the benefits that you can get in your business. Even if you don't you don't really want to use a whole lot of Google Plus. And, like I said, I know that upsets a lot of people, that some people really don't like me talking about it in that way. But it's sort of like a little loophole that I've discovered about the beauty of Google Plus. And so I want to explore the loophole, and I hope that you'll come with me. So thank you very much for being here today, and I'll be signing out, and we'll see you next time.